Hey, it's Janae here to brighten, enlighten, and ignite your day. We're week 2, the power of integration, and day 12 on values. This is something probably you've done and thought about for years, but I'm encouraging you again to look at it a little bit differently with the eyes of your number one goal in mind. Now, values, I have one of the bonus tools, the mission, vision, values, and I'm really going to encourage you. This is a great time to go ahead and take a look at that, to look at the values exercise. And in fact, right away, I'm just going to get to the point here and get to the 1, 2, 3, choose what's best for me. And for each of those, expand more in-depthly on the power of these, hopefully encouraging you to do all of the exercises. So your one and done around values is to do the mission, vision, values exercise in the book, because our values are the things that we hold dear to us, dear to our hearts. They're our guiding behaviors, our principles, how we make our decisions and how we spend our time, energy, and money. So in the mission, vision, value, guys, there's a great exercise that walks you through step by step how to do your values. So I want you to go ahead and the first thing, just do the values, okay? Now these will be what I want you to be as your desired values, okay? Without even thinking about it, what do you value? And we're always projecting our desired values into it. Then the second time, I want you to go ahead and consciously put on your truth hat and actually do the exercise again with your real values, okay? So we might say, for example, and I can relate to this, so I'm using it as an example. We might say health is important to you, and yet my real values, I don't really value it because I'm not taking the time that it needs to value it in my time, energy, money, and how I do things, right? So there are our desired values, the first step you go through, and then the real values, doing the same thing, but honestly looking at your life and saying, okay, this is what I want to value, but this is what I really am valuing. Do it again. I think it'll be really powerful for you to see. Then 2, good for you, is to look at these values conflicts. And a class that I recently took by Derek Riddell called Awaken Wealth Mastery brought such amazing insight to me on this idea of values conflicts. And it really has changed the way that I think about values and the underlying beliefs and mismatches going on that are really stopping us from taking action, right? So we know often what we need to do for our number one goal, but why aren't we doing it? And that's what I ask myself all the time, like, I know I need to do sales and marketing, so why aren't I doing it? I just need to get out there, but yet something was stopping me. And what he calls are these values conflicts. And there's so many that we have, especially society, around money. And so this is key, and that was one of the things that led me to want to explore this class further, was to really figure out what is holding me back from this. And I've just had so many different money conflicts going at. So some could be how you grew up, how your loved one or spouse grew up, because that really influences your money, how you see other people and how they spend their money can make a difference. And so for me, because I'm so passionate about learning from so many people and so many different lives, and I admire so many different people, some of my spiritual heroes on one end gave up everything, all their money, to live in poverty and become a saint, which I totally admired. And then on the other end, you have somebody like Oprah Winfrey, who I admire as well, who, you know, has made billions of dollars, right? And also has obviously done a lot of good in the world with her money. And yet, where do I fall in between? You know, as soon as I start thinking it's this, then I have conflicts around that. So the point is, that might be for you too, or you might have another one. We have a ton of value conflicts because we look at a lens as if then this, that it's an either or. If I'm this way, then I can't be this way. And so he talks a lot about people who are very spiritual, faith-based people like myself have a lot of conflicts with money because we feel that if we are rich, then we are not being spiritual or we're not serving and giving of ourselves. It's either or. And so what we need to do is identify the gaps and the values conflicts. And this truly is powerful because what we're doing essentially is we're saying, boom, our desired value, we want to move full speed ahead. But boom, our real value is putting the brakes on and we're stopping and we're getting no place fast. So if we're going to sprint toward our number one goal, we have to understand these value conflicts. So take the time to see the gaps in them and what kind of value conflicts you have and really list those out for you. And then the 3 is key, is to go ahead now based on everything that you've uncovered around your desired, your real values, and your conflicting values. Now, how can we create integrated values that are aligned with your number one goal? So your top 3 values that are your number one goal. So Derek Riddell has a couple other things really valuable that I wanted to share. He calls values affirmations. These are the values that are getting us away, the if-then kind of things. They're bringing us from, separating us, the conflicts. But they're called turn-away values. They're turning us away from what we really value. So he said, for example, I value not being alone as a turn-away value. A turn towards value, I'm deeply connected. Okay, so with your number one goal, you want turn toward values. You're going to turn toward the goal, and what are the values you need that align with it and integrate into your life to make it happen. And then you want connecting values, affirmation. He said, there's no real separation between the things that we value. What we value isn't either or, it's a both and. Using conflicts that you've identified, rewire your values so that they can work together again. For example, the more wealth and success that I have, the more space and freedom and time that I have. So the more this, then the more this. You get to do it. You get to rewire your brain. Remember, the subconscious mind doesn't have to rule us. We can rewire it. We can reprogram it consciously so that our values are aligned so we can sprint and race forward. So don't waste another moment. Go ahead, runners, get out there. Create those values so that they're moving straight ahead in your path and you are following right along. From my heart to yours, be love.